Intro. What if I told you that before Europe emerged from the Dark Ages, parts of what we now call Nigeria were already thriving with advanced governments, complex architecture, and world-class art? This is not a fantasy. These are the lost kingdoms of Nigeria, civilizations that rivaled or even surpassed their European counterparts in sophistication and culture. Let's uncover the forgotten greatness of Nigeria's ancient empires, and why you probably never heard this in school: Nok Civilization. We begin with the Nok Civilization, one of the oldest known in sub-Saharan Africa, dating back as far as 1000 BCE, older than ancient Rome. The Nok people were pioneers of iron smelting, a revolutionary technology. While many parts of Europe were still in the Bronze Age, Nok craftsmen were already creating sophisticated iron tools, weapons, and farming equipment. But that's not all. The Nok also left behind terracotta sculptures so detailed and expressive that many researchers couldn't believe they came from prehistoric Africa. Even today, archaeologists are still trying to understand how this society developed such advanced artistry, governance, and technology so early. Benin Kingdom. Fast forward to the 11th century. Welcome to the Benin Kingdom, in present-day Edo State. While medieval Europe was struggling with poor sanitation and disease, Benin City was a clean, well-organized capital with wide streets, underground drainage systems, and urban planning that amazed Portuguese explorers in the 1400s. One explorer described it as clean and well-governed as any city in Europe. And then there's the Benin bronzes, intricate plaques and statues made with a lost wax casting method so advanced, European scholars initially denied Africans could have made them. Instead of celebrating this genius, the British invaded Benin in 1897, stole thousands of these artifacts, and displayed them in European museums, where many still remain today. Oyo Empire. To the west of Benin rose the Oyo Empire, a Yoruba powerhouse that dominated West Africa between the 1600s and 1800s. Oyo had a professional cavalry force, something rare even in European armies at the time. Their military strategy and command structure rivaled anything seen in the West. Even more impressive, their system of checks and balances. The Alafin, the king, ruled alongside the Oyo Mesi, a council of nobles who could even remove him from power if he abused it. This level of political accountability and structured governance was centuries ahead of its time, and shows that African societies weren't chaotic or backwards as colonial narratives claimed. Kanem-Bornu. In the northeast, stretching into modern-day Borno State, the Kanem-Bornu Empire was a center of Islamic learning and diplomacy for over 1,000 years. By the 1200s, it had established formal diplomatic relations with North Africa and the Middle East. Its scholars studied law, astronomy, and medicine. While large parts of Europe were still illiterate, Kanem-Bornu rulers kept libraries and sent envoys to Cairo, Mecca, and even the Ottoman Empire. Why it matters. So why don't we hear more about these kingdoms? Because colonial powers needed to justify the invasion and domination of Africa. They erased, distorted, or ignored histories that proved Africa wasn't uncivilized, but powerful, cultured, and organized. When you know that Nigeria had iron technology before many parts of Europe, that Benin City had city planning before London did, that Oyo had political systems more balanced than European monarchies, you start to question everything you were taught. Outro. It's time to reclaim and retell our stories, truthfully and proudly. If this video opened your eyes, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment. Which kingdom impressed you the most? This is Africa Facts, where history speaks for itself.